The Hudson's Bay Company, the store that built a country. A long time ago, before Canada was even a country, a group of traders, explorers, and First Nations people worked together to establish one of the oldest businesses in the world, the Hudson's Bay Company, HBC. The beginning of the fur trade. In the 1600s, people in Europe loved fur, especially beaver fur. It was used to make luxurious hats that symbolized wealth and status. But there was a problem. Beavers in Europe were nearly extinct. In 1670, two French explorers, Pierre-Esprit Radisson and Médard de Groseilliers, told the English king that there were vast beaver populations in Canada, particularly around Hudson Bay. Seeing an opportunity, the king agreed to support them, and the Hudson's Bay Company was born. The king granted the company control over a massive area of land, almost one-third of what is now Canada. HBC hired trappers to hunt animals, prepare the furs, and bring them to trading posts along rivers and trails throughout the Canadian wilderness. To transport furs and goods, voyageurs, French-Canadian paddlers and explorers traveled across rivers and trails, setting up new posts and ensuring the success of the fur trade. Working with First Nations and Métis people. The Hudson's Bay Company wouldn't have survived without the First Nations and Métis people. Indigenous traders taught the Europeans essential survival skills, including how to withstand Canada's harsh winters, use canoes, and find the best locations to trap animals. In exchange, Indigenous traders received goods such as metal tools, blankets, and beads. The Métis people, who had both Indigenous and European heritage, became expert fur traders and voyageurs. They played a vital role in paddling across rivers and lakes to bring furs back to HBC trading posts. Although cooperation was essential, these relationships were not always fair. Indigenous traders were often underpaid or received goods that were not as valuable as they were led to believe. The Fur Trade Wars. For years, the Hudson's Bay Company had a major rival, the Northwest Company, NWC. The NWC controlled another large portion of what would later become Canada, and the two companies competed fiercely for furs. This rivalry sometimes led to violence, as traders and their Indigenous allies fought over territory and resources. After decades of conflict, the British government forced the two companies to merge in 1821. The Hudson's Bay Company name remained, and it became even more powerful. The Hudson's Bay Company and the birth of Canada. The Hudson's Bay Company played a key role in shaping Canada's development. Fur traders and voyageurs explored and mapped much of the unmapped wilderness, establishing hundreds of trading posts that became important meeting places. Many of these HBC trading posts later grew into major Canadian cities. Fort Garry became Winnipeg, Manitoba. Fort Edmonton became Edmonton, Alberta. Fort Victoria became Victoria, British Columbia. And Ville Marie became Montreal, Quebec. By the 1800s, demand for fur declined, and the HBC had more land than it could manage. In 1869, the company sold Rupert's Land, its vast territory, to the Canadian government. This allowed Canada to expand westward and helped form the provinces and territories we know today. From fur trade to retail. With the fur trade coming to an end, the Hudson's Bay Company changed its business model. Instead of trading furs, it began opening department stores across Canada, selling clothing, food, and household goods. Even today, the Bay remains one of Canada's biggest retailers. After more than 350 years in operation, the Hudson's Bay Company is Canada's oldest business. So, the next time you see a Hudson's Bay store or a striped HBC blanket, remember, this company started with beaver hats and became a key part of Canadian history.